Your guests don't see your tech setup. They don't know what platform you use, what your automations have been configured to do, or what your coordination hub looks like. But they do feel it. They feel when that confirmation email comes into their inbox instantly. They feel when that pre-event email comes and it answers questions that they've been thinking about that they haven't even gotten around to asking. They feel it when they actually arrived and everything goes smoothly as though somebody has thought through every single detail. And they also feel when those things don't happen. Today, I'm going to walk you through the backside of a retreat tech setup, layer by layer, as well as let you know what order it should be on so that they can build on top of each other. Whether you build it yourself or you have someone else build it for you, you're going to walk away from this building knowing exactly what needs to be set up for your tech backend. I want to start by talking about what it looks like when you have all 5 layers of your retreat backend in place and working together. Going through what it is that your guests experience when all systems are firing correctly. Layer 1 is a registration that routes itself. Your guest finds your events page. They fill out their registration. They hit submit, and that information goes exactly where it needs to be. Her name and her details flow into your CRM. Her dietary restrictions and session selections go right into your coordination hub. Her email address is added to the correct list so that she starts getting all those pre-event communications that's getting her hyped and excited to attend your event. She didn't have to do anything extra and you didn't have to do anything manually. The system moved her information to the right place because it was designed to do so from the start. Layer 2 is pre-event communication that runs on its own. Within registering, your guest receives a confirmation email. A few days later, she gets a welcome email with some pre-event communication that's getting her hyped and excited for what's to come. 2 weeks before the event, she gets a logistics email that gives her details about her arrival, lets her know what to pack, and any other activities or homework assignments that she needs to prepare for before arriving. And then a few days right before the event, she gets a final reminder just making sure that she's got everything that she needs so that when she's on site, she is good and ready to go. She never has to wonder what's next. She doesn't have to send an email asking for more details. The communication was built, tested, and set up to run before you even open registration. It's doing its job without you having to even think about it. Layer 3 is a coordination hub that your team actually uses. Your team has one central place where everything lives. Your guest list, the run of show, dietary restrictions, vendor contacts, the timelines, the task assignments is all organized. It's current and it's the first place that people go when they're looking for information. Nobody is texting you wondering what time the caterer is supposed to arrive, and nobody's searching through threads of emails trying to figure out the vendor contacts information. The information is in the hub, it's up to date, and it's accessible to all your team members, and they know to go there because you set it up from the very beginning. Which brings us to layer 4, vendor and logistics details that your team can access without having to go through you. Every vendor is documented in that hub. We're talking contact name, email address, phone number, confirmation status, delivery time, any special notes. Your logistics lead can look up any vendor detail directly. If something needs to change on an event date, your team can easily access it without having to go through you because it's no longer locked in your inbox. It's in the system. And layer 5 is a post-event process that takes place whether you're tired or not. The event ends. Within 24 hours, your guests are getting a thank you email with a request for feedback. A few days later, they get a reminder about that feedback request. And after that, an email about resources and next steps, finally ending with an invitation to re-enroll for the next event. You didn't have to remember to send any of it. You didn't have to take time to sit down at the end of your event while you're already tired to write down those emails. Why? Because it was built before the event even started and went out automatically. The post-event process is what takes one event and makes it the foundation for the next event. It captures feedback that you can use, delivers resources that reinforces the experience, and it opens the door for repeat attendees when they're at the point they're most likely to say yes. Now, seeing the finished product is one thing. The question is, how do we get there? And this is where the order actually matters a little bit more than you think. Because if you build these out of order, what could potentially happen is you having to go back after the fact to change things. You end up retrofitting. And retrofitting is what creates those gaps, because what you're going to end up doing is going back and trying to fix things to connect that weren't created to connect to begin with. So here's the order that works. Step 1, make your 3 design decisions before you open any platform. Your information map. Where does every bit of information live and how does it get there? Your connection plan. What tools need to speak to one another? What's triggering them to connect to each other? And what happens when they fire? Your maintenance plan. Who's keeping each item current? How often? And what does current mean to that particular item? These decisions take an afternoon, and it saves a lot of work later, because every decision that's being made now is going to be built off of these decisions that you've just made. Step 2 is to build the coordination hub first. Everything else is going to reference it. Your registration data is going to flow into here. Your team accesses it. Your vendor information lives in here. So if you build it first, every other piece of layer that we're building is going to feed into this. If you build it last, you're then creating all these different things and trying to figure out, okay, where does it all go? Step 3 is to set up your registration and connect it to your hub and your CRM. Now that the hub exists, you can configure information to flow directly where it needs to go. Guest data flows into the hub, emails flow into your CRM or your email provider, or both. The connection is clean because the destination was already built first. Step 4 is to build and test your pre-event communication flow from end to end. Write the emails, set the timings, obviously modify it for this testing period, and then configure the setup. Then test the entire thing. Register a test email into it and watch it flow. Check the content, the timing, and the order. Do this before the registration is open. This way, when guests start signing up, you know that the system is verified. Step 5 is to populate the vendor and logistics layer as bookings are confirmed. Don't wait until the week of the event to assemble this. Every time you book a vendor, their information goes into the hub immediately. And by the time the event starts, this section of your hub is already complete because it's been set up from the very beginning. Step 6 is to build your post-event communication flow and have it prepared to send. Write the thank you, the feedback request, the resources email, and your re-enrollment invitation. Go ahead and set the test it. You want to build this out now before the event even happens. That way you're not too exhausted to do it later. And just as an aside, you are more than welcome to go ahead and set this up from the beginning. But if you do want to personalize it more based on like the findings from the event, feel free to tweak that when you have time during your event, and then continue to schedule it so that it goes automatically. The goal here is that you have something already in place. That way you're not having to overthink and start from scratch when you're at your lowest energy point. Step 7, document the tech setup so that it can be operated by someone other than you. One document that shows what the tech is, how each of it is connected, what to do if something breaks, and who to contact. This is the piece that makes your event sustainable beyond one single event. And it makes it more operable so you're not the only one that knows how to take care of the system. And if you're watching this and thinking, okay, but I want to know where I am in terms of my planning process, like where am I? Then I've got something for you. I created a free assessment called the Event Pulse Check. It takes about 5 minutes and it covers everything from budget and logistics through registration, team roles, and day operations. You'll get a profile that tells you where you are, what areas you're excelling at, and what areas could probably use a little bit more focus. You can find the link below down in the description. I want to give you a way that helps you know that your event is ready, not mostly done or I think it's nearly there. Your setup is ready when everything has been tested end to end, not just set up. We're talking tested. You put in a test registration email and you have watched everything flow in exactly the way it's supposed to. It's ready when your coordination hub is current and has been shared with the wider team. When it's actually being used as a first point of reference instead of just sitting there collecting dust. It's ready when your post communication flow is written, tested, and set to trigger. And it's ready when your tech has been documented well enough that somebody else can step in to take on that responsibility if needed. That's the bar. And when you hit it, you walk into your event knowing that your tech setup is handled. You're not bracing for something to go wrong. You're not consistently checking your phone looking for things. Instead, you're present with your guests because your system has been doing what it was designed to do. Now, everything we talked about today and this whole topic, the audit, the design decisions, the 7 gaps, the build order, you have all of it. And you can absolutely build it yourself. If you enjoy the tech, if you enjoy the build process, if you're comfortable with the platforms that you have, then you have everything you need to get started. But I also know what this build process feels like in real life. You're excited at first and you get started, but over time you start to lose momentum because you've got other things going on top of all of this. And then 3 weeks out, client work starts to build up. Or you've got content that you've got to create, or just the momentum itself begins to dwindle. And so then you find yourself at your next event with a system that's a little bit better, but it's still not. If this sounds familiar and you're ready to have your tech backend built, tested, and hand it back to you, then this is exactly what my Event Tech VIP Day was designed for. In a focused day, I built the tech setup for your next event. The registration system, the email automation, the CRM connection, the coordination hub, the post-event communication flow, all of it configured, connected, and tested. You get a walkthrough video of everything that was built so that you can make changes yourself, as well as 30 days post setup to ask any questions and make modifications to your back. You're not buying information because you already have that. What you're buying is a system. If that feels like the right next steps for you, then you can find the link down below for more information. And if building it yourself feels more like the appropriate way for you, then that's totally fine and I fully support it. You've got all the information that you need. You know what a complete tech setup looks like now, and you know where the gaps tend to sit and how to fix them. You know the design decisions that matter, and you know what order to build everything in. And you know what ready actually means. It's a completely different space than staring at your setup and wondering if this is going to work. Wherever you go from here, you're going in with a clear picture. And that's what matters. If you found this useful, go ahead and hit subscribe. I've got a lot more coming about the operational side of retreats and events that I think you're going to find interesting. Until next time.